I have just enabled recording for the meeting so that I could upload this training session if it gets recorded nicely onto YouTube and send you all a link to share in the future. Shile, would you like to go next and introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Shile, based in Nigeria. My company is looking to implement Bahmni for hospitals based in Nigeria.
Okay, welcome. Thank you for attending. There's someone who's also joined on the phone with the number 988674851. Could you introduce yourself if you can hear us? Yeah, I think their voice isn't coming through. Did I miss anyone? Is anyone remaining? They would like to introduce themselves. Okay, so Bharat, maybe you can go ahead introduce yourself, and then the screen is all yours.
Sure.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hello, everybody. My name is Bharat Aknipalli. I am a lead developer here in Bahmni. I work out of ThoughtWorks Hyderabad office. Um Today, I would like to take you through the installation of Bahmni and how do you go through, various things like checking the logs or like how do you see that the processes are running and kind of basic stuff about how everything about installation of Bahmni. Please feel free to stop me wherever you think I'm going a bit faster or something. Just let me know so that I can slow down the process. Okay. Okay. Fine. Let's get started. So this is the agenda for today. So what I would like you to take you through is about the various components that are there in Bahmni. I'll just give a brief so that you get to know what you are actually installing and what are some of the prerequisites that this installation process expects, right? So certain prerequisites are there, so we'll go through we'll I'll walk you through that, and various other things. I'll take you through it when it comes up. Okay. Okay, fine, cool. So if you look at this, I'm just so this is a very quick outline on what are the various components that are there in Bumni. There are more, but this document is kind of old, but it gives us what the core or main topics, main components are. Um, so we have what is called OpenMRS server. So we all know about it because OpenMRS is one of the EMR that it's a very popular EMR, and the whole point that you guys are here, you would have known about or heard about OpenMRS. And then there is a laboratory information system called OpenLS. Okay, so this is the lab system that we use, and then there is an ERP, which is the Open ERP server. It's currently called Udo. Okay. What Bumni provides is a very clean integration of all these three components. So you have a hospital management system, and then you have a laboratory system, and then you have an ERP, everything integrated together nicely. So we'll see how easy is it to install all these components in a moment. Um, okay. And then there are other components like reports, packs, and all that we have that are available. Might be we will take that as a different topic at a later point in time. But just for the sake of installation, I would like to concentrate more on these aspects. Please feel free to type your questions on the notepad that Gurpreet has shared. Okay, you can stop me anytime um, during this process. Okay. Um, so as you have seen here, right? So the various components that you see here, this is actually a Java based service. So it's a web application where you need to deploy this in one of the Tomcat or any application server. Okay, and so basically for this Bahmni MRS to be installed, Bahmni MR to be installed, you need to have a MySQL database as one of the prerequisites. Okay, so Bahmni is packed. So basically, you have the basic prerequisites are like you need the JRE because this is a Java application, it runs on a JRE, and then you need MySQL, which is a MySQL database. The database need not be present at the time of installation of Bahmni. So once you start installing the Bahmni, I'll show you how to do it. But once you start installing the Bahmni, it checks for if an OpenMRS database is already available. If it's available, it tries to use it. If it's not, then it would create a new database and from scratch, and then you can start customizing that database. The other components that you see here, OpenERP and OpenLS. LS is a laboratory information system, as I told you. So these two systems are also LS is also a Java-based web application, okay, which needs to be deployed on a Tomcat or another application server. So the backend for this is a PostgreSQL. So in cases where you would like to have both EMR, Bahmni MRS and LS, you need to have two databases. One is PostgreSQL, one is MySQL and PostgreSQL respectively. Okay, and then there is something called OpenERP. OpenERP is it was formerly called OpenERP, but currently it's called Odoo. Okay, so Bahmni has a very good integration with it. So and it is the database for that is again PostgreSQL. Okay, and then there is a very decent integration between all of this using atom feeds. I think there is another topic in future which covers like how this integration works seamlessly. So the moment a patient gets created in MRS, how will the patient gets created in ERP as well as LS. This is one example. So it happens very seamlessly. So that particular topic will be covered sometime later. Okay, so any questions till this point? Okay, Gurpreet, please stop me. I can't see that Etherpad, so if you see any questions, please stop me. Okay.
Yes, no problem. You can hear me fine, right?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yes.
Yeah, I have written down these notes till now. In summary, I think what you are saying is that OpenMRS and LS are both Java subsystems, whereas the ERP package is a Python subsystem, and MRS is using MySQL as its database in the backend, whereas LS and ERP are using PostgreSQL as their database in the backend.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So if you look at the MRS admin UI, right? So the admin console gives you very basic minimal functionality. So what Bahmni provides you is a very good front end for this particular hospital EMR, right? So I'll quickly take you through the UI. So basically, okay, I'll do that once the installation is done. So basically, it's a Angular JS based front end, which is written in HTML and JavaScript, right? And the framework that we use there is Angular JS. So what we do is this particular UI component needs to be deployed on a Apache server, so that all the requests are served from this Apache, and any processing on the OpenMRS part would be handled by the OpenMRS web application. So the request from the client, like from the browser, are first directed to web Apache server, and from there on, the requests go to MRS, depending on whether it's an MRS application. And then, yeah, if it's a lab system, then the request would go to lab, but then there is one URL for all of it. So it's like it appears that there is one URL and one system, but underlying there are three subsystems that all collaborate. Okay, so let's move forward. So basically, we do the installation of Bahmni using RPMs. RPMs is a Red Hat package manager. It's a full form of Red Hat Package Manager. So if you are from the like if you are a traditional system administrator, you will be very familiar with this word. I can just tell you about it. Meanwhile, I'll just show you how to actually install Bahmni, and then I can talk meanwhile. Okay. Uh, so so installing OpenMRS, might be people would have done it in a traditional way, like installing a Tomcat server, trying to copy the web application, trying to install the database on the whole and all of that. But installing OpenMRS using the Bahmni way is simpler. So all we have to do is do a yum install. -y is for saying that it's an S, and then OpenMRS. Okay, I'll just take you through it. So this is a plain CentOS box that's there on my machine. Gurpreet, can you see my screen now?
Yes, we can see your screen. We can see your vagrant prompt.
Yeah, correct. So currently I don't have the OpenMRS installed. So all I do now is I'll say yum install -y OpenMRS. -y stands for yes, accepting the installation process. So the assumption here that is that no, we already have the MySQL database in place. I mean MySQL DB server in place. And as I told you, if the database is already available, it will use it. If the database is not there, then it will try and create a database, create an OpenMRS database from scratch.
So
Yeah.
here again,
So
Bharat,
while
basically.
this is going on, I can just talk. Hmm. Go ahead, Gurpreet.
Yes, so here basically what we are doing is we are using the yum installer of CentOS to install OpenMRS, just OpenMRS, right? We are not installing the Bahmni UI and everything
Right.
else. Right now we are installing only the OpenMRS package, but we have other options too. I see behind in your screen, for instance, there seem to be things like Bahmni EMR, Bahmni Web, Bahmni Lab,
Correct.
Bahmni Lab Connect, which are
Right.
all basically various subcomponents which you choose to install and put them on the same machine, and then they will start talking to each other.
Right. Right. So that's true. You're right. So Yum, so Yum is the package manager for CentOS. I'm sorry for the sound. So Yum is the package manager for the CentOS. It kind of does a lot of hard work for us. So like let's say there are two packages which are interdependent, and you say installing of one package, then it can figure out that there is a dependent package and tries to install the other package as well. So M can take care of all of this. So people from the Java world can relate it to Maven, which is very similar in terms of you ask for certain jar file with a specified version. It would try and retrieve all the dependent jars as well as the current jar, so it can get all of that. So it's a in the similar lines. Yum is for Red Hat or CentOS kind of systems. Okay. So moving on. So OpenMRS, so now that the OpenMRS installation is happening. Once the OpenMRS installation is up, you will have the plain vanilla OpenMRS in place. So the whole idea of having OpenMRS as a separate RPM is that uh, in case if there is an existing OpenMRS installation already available, then we wanted to make it a seamless experience so that people who want to install Bahmni on top of it can do it. Um, yeah. So there are some tweaks that needs to be done. It's not so straightforward, but yeah, it can be done. We are working towards that. So now that you see the OpenMRS is actually installed, okay. So at this point, I can just say service OpenMRS start, which would start the service. But before that, I would like to install the Bahmni as well, so that we can see that the Bahmni also runs starts as part of this. Okay. So do we have any questions
Okay.
at this point in time?
Yeah, I mean, right now, Bharat, what we see on screen is actually like 31%. I'm not sure if others see the same. Are you saying that on your machine it's already installed?
Which one? I'm sorry.
What we are seeing on our screen is right now progress bar at 31%.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's actually, so the OpenMRS is installed. Now I've run the command install Bahmni MR and Bahmni Web. So at this point, what it's trying to do is it's trying to install the relevant OMods. So people from the OpenMRS world can relate it to actually copying the right OMods to the right location and doing some migrations and all of it. So this particular Bahmni EMR package would do all of that. And then there is Bahmni Web, which would copy the AngularJS based package onto the right folder in Apache, so that when the service starts up, it can serve the request from there. Okay. I'll just stop and share my screen once again. So can you see my screen now?
Not yet.
Okay. So Gurpreet, can you see my screen? Not yet, is it?
No, I can't still see your screen. I'm not sure. Can anyone see Bharat's screen? Okay, it's showing up now. Yeah, now we can
Okay.
see it says installed Bahmni EMR and
And
complete.
Bahmni Web.
Okay.
Yeah. So Bahmni MR and Bahmni Web are complete. So if you so as I told you, the items that it does is trying to copy the OMods and then run all the migrations. And then the Bahmni Web takes care of copying the relevant relevant AngularJS JavaScript files and HTML content onto the Apache. Okay.
Okay, can you
So
just show the last command that you typed just once?
yeah. So all I did was yum install -y Bahmni MR space Bahmni Web. Okay.
Okay, I think the general screen share is slow. Now we see it. No problem.
Okay. Okay. Fine. So at this point in time, what I'd like to do is to start the service. So I'll say service OpenMRS start. So which will start the OpenMRS now with Bahmni installed in it. And then I would say service HTTPD start. HTTPD is the service for Apache, right? So I'm starting the Apache service as well as an OpenMRS service. So if you see, right, what our RPM has done is install the OpenMRS application as a service. Unlike the traditional way of installing OpenMRS as a web WAR file in a Tomcat, what we have done, we have tried to do was create a Linux service which has its embedded Tomcat with it. So once this particular MRS starts, so when I say MRS starts, it has its embedded Tomcat with it. It starts up, and then it's ready to serve the requests. Okay. So at this point in time, I'm just waiting for the server to start up. Um, okay. So the server has started up. I'll just wait for the people to see my screen. Please let me know when you see the screen. Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you, Bharat. Go ahead.
Yeah. So can you see my screen now?
Yeah, we see the login screen.
Yeah. So at this point in time, the Bahmni installation of the EMR module is complete. So what you are seeing here is the Apache web server with the OpenMRS server installed, right? So the Bahmni MRS front end is installed as well as the OpenMRS server is up and running. And then it depends, this particular RPM depends on HTTPD, as I told you. So once you install the Bahmni web RPM, it would automatically, it will say that I need the Apache or HTTPD service to be available. So it would install that as well, and then you can start both the services.
Okay, can you also show the underlying OpenMRS just to show that OpenMRS is running?
Sure, I can do that. Yeah.
Thanks.
So so this is the OpenMRS login screen. People with OpenMRS are already familiar with it. So I'll just log in to OpenMRS. I hope you can see the OpenMRS screen now, right?
Yes. Yeah, then the connection is pretty good now.
Yeah. And so this is the Bahmni UI. So I'll just log into Bahmni. So here we have various modules available, like registration, clinical, admin reports, program module, and all of it. So let me just take you through clinical module. So just ignore this. This is like it's a functional test database, so it's an intentional error. So this is a patient dashboard. I think walkthrough of the application is kind of, I think that can be done at a later point in time. The scope of this is just for the installation of the Bahmni application. But as you can see, this is the patient dashboard. Do we have any questions here till now?
No,
If
I
not,
think
we'll
so.
go through the.
Yeah, if we just summarize what you just did, so you used yum to install first OpenMRS, where you did yum install -y OpenMRS. Then you did yum install -y Bahmni web, so that the Angular UI component, which is running on top of OpenMRS, that gets installed, which is this green color UI that we are seeing, which is actually the Angular JS UI on top of OpenMRS. Am I right?
That's right.
Okay.
You're right. Yeah. So moving on, I would like to just show you some of the folders that are of interest here, like where do we see the logs, kind of thing. I'll just take you through some of the services here.
Can you
So
also increase the font a little? Sorry.
sure. Is it better now? Is it okay?
Yes. Yes, it's
Okay.
fine. Thanks.
So one advantage of having this OpenMRS and OpenMRS as a Linux service is that people who are familiar with services or any of the Linux based applications, right? So they're quite familiar with where the logs are and all of it. So just because OpenMRS is a service, right? All I need to do is just go to var log OpenMRS for the logs location. So this part is a service name. Generally, var log in the service name will take you to the a log location. So you can just do a tail of OpenMRS log to look at what the logs are and all of it, right? And same is the case with HTTPD. Like, so if you want to look at HTTPD logs, so it's like var log HTTPD will take you through the HTTPD logs. So here you can check the access logs and error logs if there are any. So and each of the components in Bahmni are organized as services. Each service is nothing but a Java underlying. It's a Java program, right? Like it's a application, Java application with an embedded Tomcat in it. So if I just do a ts-ef grep Java, all you can see is a jar, OpenMRS jar, which is an embedded Tomcat with OpenMRS application in it. The moment I start the application, I start the jar file using java -jar command. It actually spins up a embedded Tomcat with the web application already embedded in it. Okay, so that way it's a self-contained module in itself. Okay, so when I was talking about lab and OpenMRS, right, I said those two are web applications and it needs to be deployed in a Tomcat. But what Bahmni provides you is a self-contained service which has an embedded Tomcat in it. The moment you start OpenMRS, you are starting a Tomcat with OpenMRS already installed in it. The same is the case with lab. it has its own Tomcat which listens on a different port, and it has its the moment you start the lab service, it would actually spin up its own Tomcat. Cool. Yeah, so that's what it is. So at this point I would like to just slow down a moment for a moment and just try to just say that what we have seen till now is the installation of Bahmni MRS frontend. That's called Bahmni Web, and then there is Bahmni EMR, which is the OpenMRS with some Bahmni components on top of it, right? The OMODs and migrations, and then we have seen how to install all of this, right? I hope it's pretty simple till now. So
Does anyone have any questions up till now? So Tim has posted a question, Bharat, saying that having an embedded Tomcat, does that increase the memory footprint?
So what we have observed is that having one big bulk Tomcat with lot of web applications is kind of little difficult to control. So rather this way of having it gives us more flexibility. Okay. Um, if you are not speaking, can you please go on mute? Hello. There's quite a bit of noise. Can you please go on mute if you're not speaking?
No, the full process, please repeat again full process. Yes, just verbally full process.
Uh,
Hello.
Hello. Yeah, I'm not sure what you're asking. Like, what is the question?
Carol, can you just type your question again? Are you requesting to see the summary of the whole process that we just did?
Okay.
Can you just paste these commands once on that same notepad,
Sure.
if you don't
I can
mind?
do that. Yeah, sure. So you want me to paste
So
it here?
yeah, just paste it anywhere you feel comfortable. That's fine. Carol, just FYI, we are recording this presentation. So after the presentation is over, tomorrow I will email the video link for this, and then you can sort of watch this process again on video. Would that be okay? So that we can move ahead with the rest of the questions. Okay, thank you.
Okay. So yeah, so all we did was did yum install -5 OpenMRS and Bahmni EMR and Bahmni Web. Okay. So yeah, so let's move on to the next piece of thing. So one point I would like to iterate here is that the OpenMRS, EMR, Bahmni EMR are these RPMs are very specific to Bahmni. So for your yum package manager to recognize where these RPMs are available, there is a location. So this is a standard location that is available in CentOS machines. So there is etc yum repos d. So if you go here, you need to place your repo file here. So for each of the so basically what we are trying to do here is we are saying that there is a Bahmni repo at this particular URL, and whenever somebody asks for a RPM package, look at this repo as well, right? So it's a simple process where you need to create a repo file like this, and then I think the instructions of for this are available in the script. In a script, we'll share the link to you of the script where it is. But it's a simple process of adding a repo file with the particular repo location, so that when you say yum install OpenMRS, it would know that this RPM is located in this repo, in this yum repo. Okay, cool. So the going forward, the way of installing lab is also kind of similar. So we have something called, so for those of you who, I mean, lab who missed the introduction, right? So Bahmni lab is a laboratory information system component. It's based on an open source project called OpenLS. So when you install Bahmni, if you want to have the lab functionality as well, you can do a yum install Bahmni lab. Okay. And there is a seamless connectivity integration between EMR and lab, so that certain things that you do in EMR actually flows back to the lab as well, right? And the results that are entered in the lab will flow back to EMR. So there is a two-way integration for both of these components.
Bharat, isn't there also a Bahmni Lab Connect that may need to be installed for the synchronization to work?
That's true. So Lab Connect is a small component which is required in Bahmni, so that it copies the relevant OMODs, which does the actual copy from which does the actual synchronization between EMR and LS laboratory, Bahmni lab basically.
All right.
So there is Bahmni MR, there is Bahmni lab. So when you do yum install Bahmni lab, all you're getting is a lab component, right? Then lab connect will connect both these components into one thing. Okay. Anybody has question? Okay. So so for installing the lab, all you need to do is do a yum install Bahmni lab with a Bahmni lab connect, so that the integration is established. In the interest of time, I've already run this command, so that it won't take longer. So once the lab is installed, all you have to do is just say this is your URL IP address of my CentOS machine. I would just say OpenLS as the context path, and then I'll be able to access the lab system. So the default credentials are already published on the demo site, and it's there on the installation wiki document as well. So this is the place where you can see that the lab results, and like you can see that people who are already you can collect samples for a particular patient, and you can do a lot of lab functionality here, right? So what you're seeing here is a doctor who actually ordered something for this patient. Sorry, just sorry. So yeah, so doctor would have already ordered something for this patient, and very sorry, my keys are kind of locked. I'm not able to access.
আচ্ছা লিস্ট কোথায় থাকে লিস্ট কোথায় থাকে কি কি আছে
Okay. So yeah, so the laboratory information system will give you access to lab records and all of it. Sorry. Gurpreet, do you mind if I join back in a couple of minutes?
Yeah, no problem. Go ahead.
Yeah.
So what Bharat was basically trying to show right now was he had installed the OpenLS, which is the lab component of Bahmni. And in Bahmni, how it works is that once you've installed the lab component and the lab connect, then as a doctor, when a doctor does a lab order for a patient, then automatically that lab order goes into OpenLS, and you can see in the patient dashboard what are the various orders that have come for today, and then the tests can be carried out against those orders. The data can be recorded in the lab system, and that flows back into OpenMRS and the Bahmni UI, so that against the patient you can see the lab test results that came up. I think he'll show the screen once he logs back in.
I, 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 I,
Meanwhile, if anyone has any questions or any other comments, please feel free to ask or type in the chat on the right side of views. Day after tomorrow, that is Wednesday evening, there is a session scheduled for how to configure Bahmni so that you can understand the various configurations at a high level. How does it work? What are the basics? And how can you, for instance, modify registration and how can you change the fields? Also, this month we have two other sessions which are scheduled. One is on the OpenLS and the lab component to give a functional overview of OpenLS and to talk about how the data flows, how do you create tests, how do you log test results against a lab. And the other session is around the atom feed integration component, which will talk about how do you how does Bahmni basically transfer data and synchronize data across the three subsystems, which is ERP, LS, and MRS. One second, Bharat, welcome back. I'll just promote you. Yeah, done. You should be able to see the share screen now.
Yeah. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, we're seeing the LS login screen.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm sorry. So I got disconnected. So this is the laboratory information, like Bahmni lab system, where the patients that are created in EMR will flow back to it, and any drug orders, any orders that are given, the lab orders that are given in EMR system will flow back to LS. And once the results are entered here, the results are synchronized back as observations into Bahmni EMR. I think in coming sessions we'll learn more about this. I will not go deep into this for now. So this is about a lab. The next thing is about ERP. So ERP is, as it's like it's based on an open source software called OpenERP. Currently it's called Udo. Okay, you can just go and search for it. It's a free software. Okay, and so basically Bahmni ERP installs the OpenERP specific version with which Bahmni works with, and then you have an ERP connect, which again, as I told you, would connect both the EMR and the ERP systems. So again, in the interest of time, I've actually installed this ERP as well. So all we need to do is 8069. So this is the OpenERP machine subsystem. So basically here there is this customers quotations and all of this, which again sync from the EMR to this place. So all of this synchronization happens using a software called atom feed synchronization. So we'll again learn about more of it in coming sessions. So do we have any questions at this point in time? So again, this Bahmni lab and OpenERP are installed as services. So you can say that you can search for OpenERP status. So it will tell you what if the OpenERP server is running, and because it's a server, I told you where to check for the logs. Where log OpenERP will take you to the logs of it, right? You can search for any error messages here, and there is something called Bahmni lab as well, which is installed as a service. So service Bahmni lab status will tell you if the service is running fine or not, right? And same is the case with logs. You can go to var log Bahmni log. Okay, so there.
I think we are in.
I'm sorry.
Yes, this is Milkias just joining in from Ethiopia. Sorry we had a delay.
No problem. We are recording this meeting, so after it's done, tomorrow I will email the video link for this, so you could maybe look at that again. We'll also do the same session again after a few days, and the notes for this session are also mentioned here. I've pasted that on the Fuse link. If you like, you can just look at that summary again.
Sorry very much. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. We
So
from our side we can't see the screen shared. We just hear the audio.
I see. Is there anyone else who's also not being able to see the screen? Maybe you can just try connecting back once more, or Bharat, why don't you just unshare and share your screen once quickly? I
I
think
can do that.
in case it helps, it'll show up for them too.
I can do that.
Thanks, Bharat.
So I've stopped sharing my screen. So I'm starting it back again. Gurpreet, can you see my screen now?
Yes, I can see your screen.
I
What
can
about
see it
others?
as well.
Okay, great.
Okay. Fine. So what we have seen till now is the installation of OpenMRS, Bahmni Lab, and OpenERP, and how we do it using YAM, and then how do you configure the repo, right? YAM repo, so that it understands what these services mean, right? These RPM files mean, right? Um, so let's move on to the second topic. So basically, I would like to talk about one thing, which is the application data directory. So a lot of you who are familiar with OpenMRS would realize that the .OpenMRS folder is kind of important. So it'll list down, that's the place where all the modules get stored and all of it. So here in the way of like how we install it in Bahmni is using a folder called opt OpenMRS. So this is kind of a home folder for OpenMRS. Okay, so if you look at if you would like to see what are the different mods that are available for Bahmni, so you can go to the modules directory. Okay, so the modules directory will list down all the OMod files, which Bahmni uses. So in case you already have an existing OpenMRS installation, so you can actually cross verify with the versions and kind of what are the dependencies with it. So this is about the modules folder. And one another important thing is about the configs. So so Bahmni has certain level of customization that can be done by an implementer. The customization called configurations, Bahmni configurations. So if I like, there is a sample config that is available on the internet. So all you need to do is go to GitHub Bahmni default config. So this is one of the sample configurations that's available. So some of customizations have your own configuration. Maybe you can clone this, or you can start and for customizing Bahmni. Hopefully Gurpreet will conduct those sessions in future. Okay, and yeah, you can learn more about it there. So coming back to this OpenMRS folder, so there is something called Bahmni config in opt OpenMRS. So this is the place where you need to place your configuration, the customized configuration. Um, some example of what can be customized, right? So like let's say what needs to show up on the dashboard, right? So certain things, certain widgets need to show up on the dashboard. So those kind of things can actually be configured in this Bahmni config. Okay, you can do a lot. You can write your own Groovy scripts and a lot of things. Might be we'll learn more about it in upcoming sessions. Uh, Gurpreet, would you like to add on something at this point?
Yeah, I think the only thing I wanted to say was that the Bahmni config folder by itself is basically the config folder for UI, and inside it there are different subfolders like app
রাত
management.
ভাই ভিডিও অফ করে ফেলে
There are various subfolders inside it, and in the upcoming session, Bharat, can you hear me okay now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, so the what I was saying was Bahmni config is basically the configuration folder for the Bahmni UI. And like you correctly mentioned, we have a couple of Bahmni config folders for different implementations on GitHub. And default config is the default one. We are going to be creating another one soon for demos, which will be called demo config, so that you can sort of see differences between the various configurations and understand that okay, if I did this, then this control will show up on the UI, or if I did that, something else will not show up on the UI. And /var/ww Bahmni config is the folder to go to in most cases for making any sort of UI change to Bahmni's UI.
You're right. Yeah. Okay. Fine. So these are the various folders that I thought of our interest. We would like to cover it. If you would like to see what all got installed in Bahmni, right? There is a yum list installed command. So this is a typical CentOS command. Okay. So it will list down all the RPM packages that are there in your CentOS machine. Okay. And you can just say grep Bahmni, so that you can search for the Bahmni repos. Installables. So it will list down what all are available as part of it and the version number of it. So currently this RPMs are of 0.79 version of Bahmni. So you can see that it belongs to this, and OpenMRS is 1.12 version of it. So you can just easily figure that out. Okay. Um, So we can take some questions now at this point in time, if there are some questions. So I've pretty much covered the agenda that I thought I'll cover today. So if you have any questions, we can take it up.
If you think that your voice cannot be heard, please go ahead and type the question on the right side Fuse chat or in the document that I shared. Also, if anyone did an install of Bahmni already, I think Tim, you've already done it, and maybe some of the others on this call, in case they would like to share their feedback or some suggestions, then maybe you could also do that right now if you like, or you could do that anytime later on the talk forum.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Hi.
Very much sorry for being late. We had a very, very bad traffic, and the time zone, I think, was the variation problem we were facing. Did you currently say that we can have this session, recorded session, we can see tomorrow?
Yes. I have recorded the session. I will upload it after this meeting, and then tomorrow I will email the URL of the video.
Thank you very much. Okay.
Yeah, I built a CentOS box, but it's behind a firewall, and I had to open all sorts of holes to allow Yum to talk to things. So I might have blocked something that I needed, which I didn't explicitly give me an error. So when I was doing that, I opened up rules for all the different repositories that it was wanting. But when I came to start the system, it was starting it like it was inside a Vagrant box where it uses localhost and has a connector through Vagrant to get to it. So all my services were only running on localhost. So I was just wondering whether there was any real tricks to installing it on a real genuine physical CentOS box as opposed to a VM.
Sorry, I didn't get your name.
It was
It's
Tim.
Tim.
Oh, hey, hi, Tim. So this particular installation setup is mainly targeted to the developers. Okay, so the expectation is that by default all the services are available localhost, so that you can just access the services. But having said that, it shouldn't differ between a plain CentOS box versus a Vagrant box. So I've used a similar script to start up a DigitalOcean box with which has CentOS in it, 6.7 or 6.7 CentOS in it, and then install all the services, and it should work, right? So there's nothing specific